Hi, on the Woodpecker today. For my 50th episode, I'm doing something special. I'm starting my new shop. In this episode, I'm beginning to build my new shop. So, I'll show you the process step by step. It's far from being close to the end. Building something like this almost by yourself is very long. It all began last fall by chopping down this dead tree in my backyard. One thing for sure, the woodpeckers will miss it. After it's all chopped up for firewood and the stump is removed, we moved this small black spruce in place of the dead tree because it was in the middle of my new shop. But looking at it today, after the backhoe rolled on it, we should have just yanked it out of the ground and thrown it away. But the real work began in April when René moved a huge pile of firewood. When it was out of the way, I started tearing apart the shed. After several days, we were left with the walls on the ground. I cut them with the chainsaw. Then we stocked up on construction stuff. Starting with 281 door cutouts. For those of you not familiar with the term, it's the cutout from the inside of a metal door after the window hole is removed. I'll use those to insulate several parts of my shop. Buying those is 6 times cheaper than buying normal styrofoam. Then I bought 44 sheets of 3/4 inch thick shop-grade maple plywood. Moving those took a long time. Do you like our new decor in our kitchen? Not bad, eh? Then, to get prepared, I dug out a hole on the side of my house for the electricity and water. After a while, I was too big to fit inside, so René finished it. When it was dug down to the footing, I drilled holes at the bottom of the wall for the electrical wire and the water to pass through. I laid them aside for the day the ditch will be dug up to the shop. But inside my actual shop, I connected the electrical wire to my electrical box. This is the new configuration of my electrical panel. A 100 amp breaker takes 8 spots in my panel, so now it's full. I even had to remove one breaker from my actual shop. Then I marked the shop placement in my backyard. Do you think it now looks like a game field? And now come the first player, the excavator. They remove the grass where the shop will be built. Then a hole was dug all around the shop walls. The second man made sure the depth is the same all around. After several hours, I have a big hole in my backyard. This really marks the start of the construction. But it didn't stay pretty like this for long, because it rained all night and I was left with a foot of water at the bottom of the hole. After pumping it out, my son came and helped for the footing form. The first thing was to assemble the sawhorses I made last winter. Then some 2x8s were nailed together and installed in the muddy hole. After a whole day working in the mud, there's the result. Not that bad, but we didn't have time to install the rebar. So, the evening before the pouring of the concrete, we installed them. All the corners are bent using the electrical post anchor in my front yard. To support them, I cut several rebars shorter. We pushed those supports in the ground and laid the rebar on top. The next morning, the concrete truck was at the rendezvous, and the concrete was pumped inside the forms.
Et voilà.
After, I laid down some 2x3 to make a key in the footing. After the whole perimeter was done, I left that alone for 3 hours. Then I removed them. The result was a nice crisp key all around the footing. The next morning, it's time to remove the form. I don't know if you can see this, but it's full of mud all the way around. So I had a load of sand delivered so that Renee and I can spread it around the footing to create a cleaner space so we could continue working on the forms. The exterior was much easier to backfill than the interior. I will end the construction of my workshop here. Come back to see the next chapter soon on the Woodpecker.